Hello and welcome back. In this video, I will show you how to use destructible meshes like this. Let's get started. To get started, we need to enable a plugin. To do that, we need to go to the Edit menu and click on Plugins. This will open the list of plugins. In the left-hand side, click on Built-in, and in the search bar, type Apex. Enable Apex Destruction plugin. Here, it will ask you to restart the Unreal Editor. Click on Restart Now. When the Unreal Engine editor has restarted, go to the Content browser and right-click on the mesh you want to destroy. Here, select Create Destructible Mesh. In the window that opens, you will see the viewport and the details panel. To get started on this mesh, click on Fracture Mesh. This will fracture the mesh into many pieces. To increase the pieces, go to Fracture Settings and increase cell site count. Let's change it to say 400. Every time you change a variable in this detail panel, you need to click on Fracture Mesh. So this will fracture the mesh into 400 pieces. Drag the Explode Amount slider to see them in detail. Because the engine has to simulate physics on every single piece, it's best not to set cell site count to a high number for performance issues. So set cell site count to say 50. Now click on Fracture Mesh and you'll see it in less pieces. So now let's see how we can break this mesh. There are a few ways to do it, but the two ways I'll be showing today is through a blueprint and through impact damage. So let's see how to use impact damage first. In the details panel, go to the damage section and enable impact damage. Now go to the content browser and drag the destructible mesh into the viewport. In the details panel, scroll down to physics and tick simulate physics. Now drag your object into the sky and click on play. As you see, it fractures, but it stays in one spot. To increase the spread, we can drag the heart to a higher level and maybe change the rotation. So now when we click play, it will drop with more velocity and spread out the pieces farther. So this is how you use impact damage. Now let's turn that off for now. Let's say you wanted to use a blueprint to break the mesh. To do that, go to the viewport, select the object, and in the details panel, click on Blueprint/Add Script. Give it a name, select the place where you want to save the blueprint, and click on Create Blueprint. In the window that opens, you will see the viewport, construction script, and the event graph. But before we start to add blueprint nodes, we need to add a component. And this component is a radial force. Select radial force in the Components tab and change the radius to say 300. Any destructible object in this radius will get destroyed. But first we need to change a few variables. So in the Impulse section, change impulse strength to 3000. In the force strength, change it to 15. Now here's the point, the destructible damage variable. When it's 0, it will not destroy anything, but when its value is over 0, it will start to do damage. Now the damage threshold of each destructible object can be different, and the way you change it is to go back into the destructible mesh blueprint and change in the destructible settings damage section, change the damage threshold variable to something higher. So if we were to set it to 5, then a setting in radial force of destructible damage of 1 would not break the heart. but if it's over or equal to 5, then it will destroy it. So let's set the destructible damage to say 6. This will definitely break our object because the damage threshold is set to 5. Compile and save. Now select our destructible object, scroll down in the details panel, and click on Component Hit. Compile and save and go to the event graph. Here you will see our newly created event. Now we need to add a few nodes. The first node will be a do once node. This will limit the number of times this event can fire to 1 time. Next, drag out of radial force, and from the pin, type in fire impulse. Now compile and save, and the last variable you need to change will be in the destructible component. Scroll down a bit more, and in collision, tick simulation generates hit events. Compile and save and go to the content browser and drag the blueprint we created into the scene. Give it a rotation and lift it up in the air, and we can delete our previous object. Now when we click on play, it will break the object. And if we were to increase the radial force strength to say 5,000, then it will explode in a much bigger radius. Did you see that? If we were to change this value to say 20,000, compile and save it, and then you'll see that it explodes even bigger. So this is how you use the blueprint to break objects. So as a review, you create destructible meshes by right-clicking on a static mesh and selecting Create Destructible Mesh. And the way to destroy a destructible mesh is to either enable impact damage or to use a radial force. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and please give suggestions on what other tutorials I should make. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and let's see if this time we can hit 200 likes. See you soon!